Welcome to the Art of Black Miami podcast, organized by Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. Our stories introduce emerging and experienced artists who make Miami an exciting place to live and visit. I'm Rosie Gordon-Wallace, curator and arts advocate. Miami is my home since the 1970s. My passion is cultivating the vision and talent of contemporary artists from the Caribbean diaspora, artists of color, and immigrant artists. Many cultures and languages come together to shape the character of Miami. Addonis Parker, lovely to have you. Share with me some of the experiences that you think have been really influential in your specific paintings of African American culture.
I think when I was a kid, probably around 6, my mom used to make comments about me because I used to sit close to the television because I would see things in there that a normal child wouldn't see. I don't know why, but I would dissect the cartoon. I said, Mom, Bugs Bunny, he just passed the same tree again. But it was actually manually, the storyboards were moving. They were actually painting each scene. I didn't know that. I just was fascinated with that color, comic books. My mom bought me a drawing pad when I was 6. And I never forgot it. I sat on the back porch and I opened it and the light, it illuminated it. People think, oh, Addonis, you're crazy. No, it did something to me. It was something in it. And as a child, I would get in trouble in school, sometime in church, because I was sketch. I couldn't stop. Graffiti was in, all of that. So I just couldn't stop. With the hip hop thing, 85, 86, 87, and Salt and Pepper, they were doing different designs on people's clothes. Yeah, I got involved in that. And then when I came to Central Florida, after I was accepted, because when I first came down, they thought I was a little different. I would, oh, this guy, he's not from us, he talks a little different. But I was designing clothes, and also, because I write poetry too, I was doing Valentine's Day cards. Valentine's Day, Christmas, my family was kind of hurting a little bit, but that gave me a little extra money.
I want to also ask you about the lives of artists that you have said influence this maturation of your figures. Who are some of these artists?
It would have to be Charles White. He was amazing. He did lithography, he did everything, and Ernie Barnes too. Those artists inspire me because you got to remember that we had a 500-year absence from being creative and being free. And then we had to catch up in the early 1900s. Just from that time. And I think it's remarkable because those people were using what they had then. Limited materials, they couldn't even gather. But those people were painting, they were drawing. Sculptures that were being created. You talk about Romero Bearden and that whole Black Renaissance. Those are the artists that actually inspired me because they did a lot of figurative drawings, paintings, and lithographs. And I was very interested in that. And I wanted to see an artist that looked like me, that I could relate to.
Your work also has a real lens of social justice. What are some of the emotional and spiritual motifs that you have in your work?
I leave a lot of codes in my work. And I let people have the opportunity to give me their interpretation of the work. I think every artist should, wherever they're from, should take care of their community, to stand up and not be afraid.
So you're telling everyday stories,
yes, ma'am,
daily stories from your community in the work, and we can see that. Any one of these paintings stand out in a really meaningful way?
The mural?
Tell me a little bit about the inspiration, because the mural is absolutely beautiful.
There was a shooting, 9 people were killed in South Carolina. It was a time of social unrest. It was a lot of stuff going on. And a lot of young people, unarmed Black African-American men were getting killed. Somebody had to say something. But the most liberating thing about it was I was able to do a mural and express myself on private property.
What's the name of the bank?
The bank is at 3275 Northwest 79th Street. It's on 32nd Avenue, and it's OneUnited Bank. The owner is Kevin Cohee and Terry Williams Cohee.
And they gave you full license to create on this wall, this amazing mural.
That was probably the first time in my entire life that I felt I was in front of public. I could paint exactly what I wanted to paint free.
How did you engage your community with the mural?
We took 23 kids from 5 different high schools in the area. We selected them, hand-picked them. They had to come to our interview. We vetted them. It's just the energy. The kids, they come from a whole new different direction. Their ideas are different. It's needed for your growth, for the teacher's growth. They taught me a lot. I didn't want to let them go. They did a rendition of my mural. Nobody saw the mural. And the mural, it's 10 feet by 58 feet. The whole process of the mural was hidden. So we had to find a place where we could paint on the inside and nobody would see it. So I took aluminum panels where I would work with the kids during the week, the weekends, to do renditions of hope, peace, liberty, justice, and how they really feel about social, injustice that was happening. They never saw the mural. The owner never saw the mural. Nobody saw the mural. I did the mural in I can't say where I painted it at because it's a secret, but it was inside, and each panel weighed 300 pounds. I had 14 or 15 panels because they were aluminum. They were heavy. I had to hang them and spray them and do all that. Then at the end, the mural was in pieces. I took them to a car demolition shop and they sprayed them with clear coat, what you put on a car. Then, to not make it a mural, to bring value to OneUnited Bank, the actual property, I framed it out so it's not a mural, it's an outdoor painting and it's original. There was a Native American Indian, it's on the far right, and that was symbolic to the owner. She was from Indian Town. And if you notice, he was holding a rose that was dropping petals. And that was also symbolic to eminent domain and the Native American people losing their land. I painted her mother in the corner too. Her mother had passed a few years prior to the mural.
As you know, when you do this work, not everyone is applauding.
None.
Share with us some of the controversy that these images stirred from the community.
Lady Liberty with her back turned with a microphone. I got phone calls from that. Also with the black woman washing the Confederate flag. I got Michael Duncan in there holding the Liberty Bell. And that's scary by itself. And I had people, why did you do that? But I wanted to paint free. And that's what I did. Those images that I used, you could never put them, I would have to say art in public places, or you can't put that because it has to be happy, multicultural and all that. I got a lot of flack from that. Young man with the target on his back, I had a lot of mothers tell me that it hurt. Sabrina Fulton, Trayvon Martin's mom, she thought it was beautiful because I put him in there, Mike Brown. But she said, Addonis, you keep painting, you keep putting the word out there, you keep doing it. She said, I applaud everything you're doing. There's a lot of artists that may be afraid. Please continue. And I felt good about that.
This is so powerful to hear you talk about your work with children. I know that you work in community, but you went across to Miami Beach and you did this amazing project with the French Consulate that happened just before Art Week 2021. So this is fresh. This is the hottest thing that people are talking about in the artwork. Will you share with us your experience with non-fungible tokens, NFTs?
I was introduced to NFTs before Art Basel. My friend got back in my ear again and was telling me about the NFTs. He said, Addonis, you can take the same painting, you could do it 15,000 different ways and sell them on a digital platform. And then the artist, no matter who buys it or trades it or sells it, resells it, a portion of that still comes back to the owners. And I didn't know what he was talking about. And they walked me through it. I took a couple classes. I'm using this opportunity to jump on digital currency and understanding the background, understanding the dynamics of how all artists can benefit from. And I want to position myself to where I can get to a point where I can be fluent. And I actually was painting for Art Basel, and that took up a lot of my time. That's why I didn't have anything. But because I had to put that aside and do the Josephine Baker. When the French Consulate asked me to participate, they was telling me this would be the first time Josephine Baker would be celebrated on American soil.
Can you describe the artwork?
I wanted to capture her spirit. I wanted to also capture her accomplishments and remind the world that she was a mother doing this, because with the Rainbow Kids, adopting those kids, and she didn't matter what color, what race, what background, it was important for her to show the world how the world should be and her love. She was also a spy. She used to carry intelligence in her music notes. She could fly a plane. She raised the bar so high. You look at the performers we have today, none can touch. I wanted to capture all of that. And I even put her military medals, her medals of resistance. One medal I put on there above all her medals, and I put Mom. I wanted to capture the color, the vibrance, her costumes, her humor. I wanted that focal point. The biggest one I have you can see in her eyes and see her spirit.
Bigger than life.
Mm-hmm. Bigger
and
than
beautiful
life, yeah.
as well.
Yes.
And beautiful.
Yes. Oh, she was awesome.
I want to touch a little bit on your restoration projects. And the one I'm pointing to is Purvis Young.
Well, the county, I have a 10-year contract with Dade County, Art and Public Places. Myself and probably 4 other groups, we restore artwork for them. We get work from 1960 all the way to current. Whatever's dilapidated, or let's say the sculpture's leaning to the left, I got to fix that. So Recreational Design Construction, Inc. do Gibson Park. They needed an artist to restore his work. His work was delicate. His work's been out there since the 80s. When I went out there, it was chipping. The colors were bleached. I was watching film on him painting, and then look at his technique and his stroke. This was when he was alive. The whole contract was he was supposed to have a tent because he was dealing with diabetes and a fan, and he was supposed to instruct me, tell me what to do and teaching me stuff, but he got real sick and then he passed. He's a beautiful man. He didn't care too much about money. He didn't talk to too many people he didn't know.
That's right.
I had a chance to sit down with him, and I remember him telling me one time, he said, don't ever get bigger than where you can't afford your own work. Yeah, to do that restoration part, you have to know the artist. Right. Even if you don't know him, watch his technique. And that's what I do. I studied him.
He's an icon that
yes, he is.
We speak about him as if he's still here.
Oh, yes.
You are from the community, you are of the community,
yes, ma'am.
And you represent the community in many, many ways in your work. What are some of the projects you have on the horizon?
I have a commission from Dade County Art and Public Places. It's Liberty Square Community Center. I'm going to do the soundproofing in there, and also I'm going to do a mural, but it's going to be a 3-part mural, 777, which is 21. You know, a complete square, 7 feet long, 7 feet high. I was going to paint the people in the old project, the 60s, 70s, 80s, and all current, like yesterday and forever. I have a few things coming up too with unifying the community and also being the art, quote unquote, ambassador for the area. It's a surprise.
What area? When you say the
Liberty
area,
City.
How were you designated that wonderful title?
First of all, I'm ambassador for the East Coast for OneUnited Bank. So I guess in my ambassadorship, it kind of bleeds over.
It bled over to
yes.
the community.
Yes. I had a few people, a few stakeholders said that I was consistent, strong enough in the community that the people know enough of me to trust me. That bond I can't break. I will not break.
I see you as a gatekeeper. So I'm going to ask, in this current time,
yes.
and all of us talking about DEI, and we see all the social unrest, but we see joy, and we see peace and kindness and mindfulness. Do you still consider yourself the gatekeeper?
Yes.
And why?
Mother Teresa, she said that the greatest famine that we have in the world is love. That's what we have to keep inside, and that's what we have to protect in the community and live by. And just because we don't make this amount of money or we don't have this type of fan club or fanfare, that we are still important. It's the small people that keep the lights on in the cities, and we need to respect that and don't ever forget that. Yes, I am a gatekeeper. Yes, I protect the children and the elderly. And yes, I love my community, and I love the people who take care of it. And even the ones who don't, I still love them.
This was an Art of Black Miami podcast sponsored by the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. I am Rosie Gordon-Wallace. Today we introduce you to Addonis Parker, a revered cultural bearer in our community. He preserves Black stories, sharing honest narratives in his public art, paintings, and conservation projects across the city. We recorded this conversation in the historic neighborhood of Little Haiti, a mecca for Black art and culture. Art of Black Miami highlights the year-round art and culture scene in Miami's heritage neighborhoods and across communities in Greater Miami and Miami Beach. If you are enjoying our stories, visit artofblackmiami.com to learn more. Engage us on social media, post and share using the hashtag #ArtofBlackMiami. The Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau is an accredited, independent, not-for-profit sales and marketing organization. GMCVB's mission is to attract visitors to Greater Miami and Miami Beach for leisure, business, and conventions. For up-to-date art events, promotions, and more information, visit artofblackmiami.com.